Boom, baby, we're alive. Male thirst. The number one problem in America's dating today, and it's all due to men. We're going to talk about that today, but take a quick look here at what we got going on this month.
Hi, I'm Jonathan from the Masculine Empowerment Network, and I'm here today with another special message for you. As you know, I've just returned from my North American tour, which started in Miami, went to Orlando, Dallas, Santa Barbara, California, Las Vegas, Nevada, and ending in Toronto, Canada. A lot of you know I had the pleasure to meet you and get a chance to talk to you and see exactly what's going on with you in your life and how can I help you more. And I learned a lot. I met so many men and so many different walks of life, and I heard about your struggles. Struggles that didn't really come from the outside, but they came from the inside. Anxiety, depression, loneliness, addiction, feeling not good enough, hopelessness, all things that are detrimental to a man who wants to live an above average life. As you know, last year we launched the Inner Game Healing Summit. And after going on this tour and hearing your cries for help, I have realized that once again, it's time to bring it back. But we're doing it bigger, we're doing it better, and we're doing it for you. This year, we are bringing back the Inner Game Healing Summit, but we are giving you 4 times the value at a fraction of the cost. Starting on March 30th, we are re-enrolling members for the entire year. Because this year, what we're going to do is in Q1, we will have 5 interactive webinar training sessions with our psychological experts, as well as Q2, Q3, and Q4. And when you sign up for Q1, you get access to all of the quarters for the rest of the year. In addition to that, you do get access to my Inner Game Healing video course, which is a self-help guide for you to maximize the principles I have used to heal my inner game to help me become the successful man that I am today. In addition to that, you'll also get access to the 1-year Telegram chat. And the Telegram chat from last year, let me tell you something. I couldn't believe what I saw, but this Telegram chat was self-sustaining with members helping each other, lifting each other up, and I was witnessing people being cured left and right. One of our members was actually able to land a 6-figure salary position with none other than Jordan Belfort himself after attending the Inner Game Healing Summit and clearing out his inner game issues, healing his traumas, and taking the next step in his life towards greatness. We welcome you to join us. If you're feeling anxiety, if you're feeling depression, if you're feeling isolated and alone, if you're feeling despair, hopelessness, feelings of not being good enough, let us help you. We have helped hundreds of men last year, and we're going to help thousands and thousands and thousands more. Join us. Go to innergamehealing.com, get on the waiting list, and get ready, because we are going to be putting together something like never before. You do not have to be a slave to your inner demons. We will conquer them. We will do this together, and we will do it in the year 2023. Thanks so much, and I'll see you on the inside.
What standards do
Feeding me reels of myself. Anyways, that's what we got going on. The Inner Game Healing is going down. Listen, we had a huge positive reception to this so far. A bunch of people are ready to roll. So go to innergamehealing.com, put your email address right here, and then you're locked and loaded. And then from there, you will be able to, you'll see some of the testimonials and whatnot here, and, get on the waiting list. And on March 30th, we're going to let you know what's going on. So, shout out to everybody in the house. Okay, so share on your socials. Thank you so much. Arturo says, "MLD, you're a good man." Hey, I know what I'm doing over here. There's substance behind my message. Anyways, sorry, I was taking forever. I was looking for this thing because remember I told you the old French man that was cleaning my place. Never again. Um, this is my board that I use to write because we're going whiteboard today. You guys can be educated. Today is not a like, you know, low IQ, drama filled subject. So if you're that person, today's not for you. We're going to talk about the biggest problem that I noticed in the dating culture in America, and it is male thirst. And we're going to talk about that because it is 100,000% connected to broken inner game. This can be interpreted as low self-esteem, not valuing oneself, not seeing oneself as valuable, or even having value as well. It is very, quite honestly, sad to see this. I personally believe, here's the deal, okay? If you want to get good with women, right? And this is meaning just you understand women. You're not a fool around women. You're not afraid to talk to women, right? You're okay in your own skin around women. And if she likes you, she doesn't like you, don't give a shit. Right? Look, there's women that tell me I am handsome and I'm good looking and they love me, they love my strong body, right? And then there's other women who even get upset hearing me talk positive about myself. So, you just got to figure out who likes you and just go where you're celebrated, not where you're tolerated, because you're not going to be liked by everybody. So grow the fuck up. Have a fucking backbone. If somebody doesn't like you, stop. You guys are such fucking pussies sometimes. Oh, look at this. Blast from the past. Everybody's coming out the woodwork. Hey, have you seen me going viral, pal? Oh, man. Talk about high value, man. This guy. I'm not even going to say it. You guys are not even worthy. Good to see you in here, buddy. Phlegm utter. Thirst is literally destroying the marketplace. Dude, listen, men are pathetic. That is the biggest problem. Okay. Let's just go right into it. Fuck it. Before I start ranting, I just better put this onto paper. Here we go. I got to be on the screen. All right. So here's how this is happening. Okay. Okay. So in America, let's put this over here. Okay. So in America, you have the first problem of it all, which is the hypersexualization of the whole culture. Hypersexualization, okay? This is in the media. Okay, this is in the dude, it's in honestly, it's in video games. Okay. It's in print. All right. I'll tell you this. In my personal experience, I have dated women all around the world, and I've noticed that the girls that sexualize themselves the most and put the most of their value into their sexualization is American girls. Another thing is this: American girls fuck like porn stars. Like the average American girl is doing shit that is just ungodly. I mean, it's awesome when you're doing it, but these girls are pros. And I'm talking from a young age too. Because when you go abroad, these other girls, they focus more on the total package of femininity, which is being nurturing. Okay. I was on a date with a chick and, you know, I was explaining that I like a feminine woman, and she's like, "What do you mean feminine?" I was like, "Bitch, you're a woman. What the fuck do you mean? What is feminine?" But that's just how lost some of these people are. The total package. In some cultures, women still do value chastity for themselves, right? And like, not every girl is out here like a raging whore, but like American society, literally, if you stop and take a break from clown world, right? This is why when I see everything different from you guys in America, because I watch it from Japan. I watch it from a normal culture where there's still traditional values. There's like virtually no crime here. There's virtually no immigration. It's a strong, strong, like third strongest economy in the world, one of the best medical systems in the planet. So I'm watching you guys over there argue about what is a woman, and you have, sex offenders dressed up as women reading children's stories at drag queen story hour, and I'm supposed to like just I totally approve of this, like, or I'm somehow a morally corrupt individual. When you stop and break it down, it's fucking insane. It's fucking crazy. But you motherfuckers are living in this craziness and you've become accustomed to it. And again, it all goes back to this hypersexualization. It's everywhere. It's the LGBT. It's the children going trans. It's women being sluts. It's the gay march. It's like everything is just hypersexualization. And that should be a private thing. Okay. You can't be out there with your sexual business everywhere. It's just, one, most people don't want to hear it. And two, if they do want to hear it, I'd be a little concerned about this person wanting to listen to all these raunchy stories. But it's in the media. Like, the songs are literally telling you, like go and fuck as many dudes as possible. Like, in what normal society would you listen to music and that be socially acceptable? I like how the chat has just come to a dead halt. Either I'm making sense or people think I'm fucking crazy. But I know. I mean, do I need to pull up the biggest piece of evidence that we have that we consistently play on the channel? Oh my god. The normalization of it all is crazy. So you have these chicks, right? And they're hypersexualizing themselves. And so the thing is this too, but women don't realize is when women are running around and hyper sexualizing themselves, how women, ladies, how do you expect men to appreciate you for anything more than that when that is like the highlight of your existence? When your Instagram is like basically a softcore porn website, you're sharing your body for everybody to see. I'm talking like girls with like thong bikinis and stuff like that. Dude, no way am I gonna ever tolerate that unless the chick I end up with or something is like a legit model, like a real model, and they're paying her for, and that's like contracted out. Sure, but like other than that, like, and like you have 900 followers and you work at Arby's, bitch. Like, what are you doing? So I don't know, man. And then women just are like, oh my god, why are these guys such pigs? But that's just the majority of girls do this. And when you ask them, like, what are your hobbies? Shopping, going to Starbucks. you know, uh, you know, here you go. Run it up. It says, who cares about chicks? Give us vlogs in Japan. All right, I'll just stop the show. Keith Chief says we're locked in. Yeah, no. So it's yeah. And then Miss Luciana says she agrees. You know, thong bikinis came out. Yeah. This guy, Miss Dr. Beast. After listening to American Women, I'm thankful I'm not born there. Praise the Lord. This one, Abdul Wahab. It's not gonna happen, but you deserve Arab women. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for letting me know Arab women will reject me. I appreciate that. God bless you. Those $2 really alleviate the pain I have to endure now. But anyways, so you have the sexualization, right? So the thing is,
Shut up and take my money.
you now have, you literally have the like, so this here is working on at least 50% of the population is affected. And that's being generous, saying of men and women, right? It's not going to affect everybody, but it's everywhere. This is why when guys are dating women and they bring them to America, a lot of guys like, don't bring them to America. America is going to corrupt her. Why? Because your environment absolutely has an effect on you. If everybody around you is fat, you're going to get fat. That's why when girls move to America, they always get fat. From whatever country they move to America, they get fat. Okay, it's the environment. So if the majority of women around you are insufferable, single, and fat, what do you think is going to happen to you? You're going to have to structure a ecosystem and a lifestyle and a community around you to help you facilitate a peaceful lifestyle. And those places are kind of few and far between in the States. Definitely not in the cities, but it takes, being connected. This is why isolation is murder to yourselves. Man or woman, if you find yourself starting to get isolated, red alert, you got to start building up your social circle, because social isolation is becoming a growing thing, and that is, a lot of you guys tell me like, oh, I don't get any girls. I'm like, okay, well, when's the last time you go out? Oh, really? I really don't go out. What do you do? Well, I ride my bike around the woods. I go to the gym sometimes, play video games at home, and I work from home. I'm like, okay, well, dude, there's your life. As we become a more kind of remote society, people more working remotely at home, everybody wants this freedom, but they kind of forget that you do sacrifice a little bit of community for that. And don't get me wrong, there are morons in the office. Trust me, I have worked with plenty of fucking morons in corporate world, enough that it motivated me to get the hell out of there. And I was able to pull that one off. So I'll give myself a victory chant on that. So, but anyways, went off a tangent there. Let me just go back to the main point here. So when you have 50% of the population, being influenced by this, your environment is going to affect you. So here's where it compounds. Okay. So now, I think now to top it off, you have, out of all men, period, I think at least 50% now of men in America are raised by single mom. And that's just the men. Okay. That right there is just the men. Not factoring in the single moms raising the daughters as well, which adds to another conundrum. Ryan, 1999 super chat, or 999 super chat. Facts. Happened to my Filipino ex-wife. Was a God-fearing woman, married 5 years. Then I left for deployment, came back, and she told me she had an affair. Got to thank her new American friends for that. Yikes. Did her friends push her to do it?
Shut up and take my money.
I mean, you can't be far away from your woman, because that, shit like this will happen. But at the same time, she does have the responsibility to not be a cheating wife. Did you vet her for a while? What it is done. I was raised by my mother and grandmother. There you go. So that causes a trouble there, right? So now you have the situation where the guys are totally thirsty. And to top it off, right? So here, let me go to the sport. Can I move down? How does this work? No, hold on. I think right click. No. Okay. Oh, Ryan follows up with another one. Yeah, they were bartenders. She started going to clubs.
Shut up and take my money.
No. Yeah, exactly. This is why. Don't go to girls' night out turns into this shit. What dirtbag friends of hers to influence her to cheat on her husband? Yikes. Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. You gotta, you know your shit. There's trifling hoes out there. Not everybody's a decent person. Just because you marry somebody doesn't mean they're a good individual. You know what I mean? Follow up there. 499.
Shut up and take
Thank
my
you.
money.
It's all good. I got the house since the divorce. I love it. I love it. Okay. So you have this now, right? And right. So what this ends up causing is it creates a population with a void. Okay. You see, when we are like raised in a home, single mother home, single father home, whatever. Actually, single father homes are monumentally better than single mom's home. The real problem is the single mom home. So you have like a population with a void, right? When the dad's not in the house, when man is not in the picture, I mean, the studies are just like mind blowing. They said a father just being physically present in the home, not even being too involved with the children, I think it reduces the chance of the girl doing any kind of sex work or something like that by like I think 70%. Just by him physically being present. Right? So when you're raised in a single mother home, single parent home, right? There is a void that you feel naturally as a human, right? And if you don't have that filled, people typically, if you don't like come to terms with it emotionally and kind of work with someone to overcome that, because a lot of people hold on to those things for the rest of their lives. There's a void inside them, right? And it's like, if you really look at it, it's like the biggest problem with what's happening in America, because like it's become a joke now. Like it's a mainstream culture joke in America to say, oh yeah, that girl has a daddy issues, right? And what is daddy issues? Daddy issues is the woman not having a secure, loving, fatherly role in her life. So she looks for this love and security in other men in a kind of sexual way as well, right? And that has become a normalized joke. And the thing is, these girls, they're not going to ever find that peace they're looking for unless they give that love and, validation to themselves. You see, the void is them not being able to give them self validation. Self validation is super important, right? So let's make a note here. And we're going to put population void. No self validation. Okay. People are so insecure that they feel guilty, and even society in America makes them feel guilty for, let me kind of take this so you can see that. There we go. No self validation. See it right here? So it's to the point in society, if a girl says like, oh, I'm very cute, or if she says I'm a very good cook, or if a guy, especially a guy, right? Because men are supposed to like walk around in shame for the fact that we're just men. This is what these new age cunts want from us. Sorry, I just fucking can't deal with it. Especially these girls in California. And I'm so glad Allie, Real Femme Sapien, went out there too, because she also was telling me, like, Jesus Christ, these girls are just so far gone. They're so far gone. Um, and those people out there, the void that they're trying, they also feel this void, but they're trying to fill it with like a false sense of morality that they get from Hollywood propaganda. If you really look where their belief system comes from, it's so vapid, it's so shallow, and these people are just so empty inside that they defend it like tooth and nail. But if you're able to give yourself validation, if you're able to be like, I am smart, I am good looking, I look nice today, I am a good responsible individual because I go to the gym, right? I'm a good responsible individual because I take care of my finances. This is how you're going to find the most internal happiness. And it's funny because if you do that, people will think like, oh, what's wrong with you? This person's weird. Why are you saying this stuff? Are you depressed? Are you, one time I had all these positive, I talk about this. I had all these like positive affirmations on my wall because I still do. They're in my house, I like to I like to put myself in an atmosphere that's like facilitating happiness and support. And I remember I was like at the club and I met some like crazy German girl. And somehow we ended up back in my place. And, she was showing me her tattoos and she used them because she used to cut herself so much. And she, covered her tattoos. And she saw all my affirmations on the wall, like, I'm going to make it on the internet and stuff. This is like 2018. And she's like, I think you're like a very depressed person and you really just like, you need some help. It's just like, I think you're the depressed person here, crazy. But that's how ensnared she was in her own negativity that she saw someone like with positivity and support around their house that she automatically said, like, wow, this guy must be depressed and sad or dysfunctional in some way. And then this is a girl whose mental state literally took her to the point that she was cutting herself at some point. So it's just you got to be able to give yourself validation. And here's how people, and here's how guys do it too. Okay, look, as a guy, right? If you are, I would say, like, if you sleep with pretty much more than like 100 girls, after 100, it's kind of like, you should kind of healthily be over it. So either you haven't fully grasped the concepts of what you're doing, you have more like a natural, you're just like a very tall, jacked, good looking guy, and you just like effortlessly get girls, then that's not really game. That's just like you just being what they want, right? Which is fine. That's a good way to be too. But for the other guys who have to build up the game and stuff, sometimes they'll get really good at game, but they still don't have the ability to self-validate. So they will use women as a sexual validation, as a crutch. They feel like they're only as good as the last new girl they fucked. And that is also not a healthy way for people to end up in the long term. And this is why, in my personal opinion, you see these pickup artists who do on this shit and they get into their 40s and they get into their 50s and they either kill themselves, they go crazy, or they have like a religious Jesus thing happen, And you could look at this with a lot of people who this happened to. Victor Pride in one guy, he, claims
Shut up and take my money.
He took some drugs, took some mushrooms or some shit and weed, and then he decided to follow Jesus. Roosh, same thing. I got the Jesus pill early, and now I'm now I'm just living free. But I feel like these guys, it's not normal for you just to kind of go off on like that. The normal thing to do is eventually meet a woman and have kids, but keep the government out of it. And that's the normal thing. I'm not telling you to go do that, but that's how you got here, you pompous shit, if you don't want to have kids. Okay. And that's just what's normal. And I just see these guys going crazy. And then obviously, we see the women too. women are miserable. These women are so miserable. It's funny to me to watch because I called this 10 years ago when I left America in 2012. And now those bitches that were 25 or 35, and I just, I called it. I mean, you can watch my backlog, watch all the way back my videos. People just catching up to me now. I've been on this shit. And so, yeah, the Pied Piper is here, and the data just showing this trend is not turning around at all. You know, the single plague will continue to spread across America. You know, and I would say a couple things. The biggest thing that has to change though is the male thirst, and that's what today's episode is about. I'm gonna read this super chat. Andrew Eden, $4.99. Grow up with a beta male father who always disapproves, shamed me anytime I showed eating alpha-like traits. Any advice to overcome that past? How old are you, buddy? Definitely. So stuff like that. You see, I'm glad you mentioned that. Actually, I should change my name here to innergamehealing.com. Go to Inner Game Healing, buddy. Go to Inner Game Healing and get on the waiting list. That is super important. That's the kind of stuff we're going to help you get over. This is exactly why we are doing Inner Game Healing, because people don't know how this shit messes with you. This is like while you'll see like certain celebrity athletes, they're like notorious for choking, like Donald Cerrone, right? Donald Cerrone always chokes in a big fight. Nobody knows why. No offense to you, Donald, but he's every big moment he's come up short. Kind of people could say the same for like Tony Romo, the Dallas Cowboys quarterback. And then there's some people that have that fucking edge. The Tom Brady, the motherfucker always comes through. The Aaron Rodgers, the John Jones, the George St. Pierre's, these people, the real goats of their sport. Fucking Floyd Mayweather, those guys are mentally sound. And then there's people who have, kind of flaws in their mental game. And that is the difference between good and great. That's the massive difference. But yeah, man, the best thing you could do, and it sounds so fucking cliche, but I will say this: if you're still here, Andrew, I don't see you follow up in the chat. The best thing you can do is to just fucking live a good life. I'm telling you, like when they say revenge is like success is the best revenge, you have no idea. It is, because the best thing is when these like, dude, I have forgotten about my old haters, and I have found out some of these fucking losers are still watching me and criticizing me. So thank you, you fucking middle class scum. You loser ass haters. Hilarious. You said I couldn't do it, and now look at you watching my greatness. It's fantastic. Sorry, that was a little tangent there. But
shut up and take my money.
You got to live a life that you want to live, and that your dad would totally like. Who cares? It's about you. That's the biggest thing. Here he is falling out right now. Age 26, discovered red pill about 1.5 years ago. Dropped 80 pounds, but I'm discovering that gym can only go so far. Yeah, so you were pretty big. So, and that's another thing too. With people, this is tied into an inner game thing where we're going to be talking about on the channel as well. How eating and obesity is connected to depression, anxiety, and how a lot of people, they can't lose the weight because internally they're just so sad and mentally like kind of they have a hang up about it. And that is a gigantic problem. That's why they can never lose weight, because internally they don't believe it's possible. They don't believe it's possible. Okay. That's the biggest thing. They don't believe it. Like it's like what Yoda said. When Luke Skywalker was Empire Strikes Back, and he says, Yoda uses the Force and he pulls the X-wing out of the swamp of Dagobah. And if you don't get this analogy, that's tough on you because you should watch Star Wars. But he sets it down, and Luke Skywalker walks up to Yoda and he says, I don't believe it. And then Yoda says, that is why you fail. Okay. If you want anything to happen, you have to believe it can happen. You have to believe. Okay. If you want to get a really, really, really beautiful girlfriend, you have to truly believe in your heart of hearts that you are worthy. Right. And Justin Mark talks about that with approach anxiety. If you truly believe you are a super valuable person, you wouldn't have approach anxiety, but you're afraid to walk up to a girl and talk to her because you believe that she is superior to you, that you have no value. And that is a big problem with the thirst. Okay. Because, okay, let's move this thing. Where's my mouse? Oh, there we go. Who's your daddy? I got it. Okay, here we go. Perfect. Now we're cooking. All right. So here we go. So now what happens when you have thirst? All right. This is going to be a good quiz. All right. What happens when you have thirst plus the inability to how can I say this? I guess you can say inability to seduce women, right? Because when you date, you're seducing each other. Women seduce us with their beautiful lips and lipstick, makeup, push-up bras. When they go to the gym, listen, man, I appreciate it when a woman looks good. I do not like being disappointed when I take a woman's shirt off. You know, and it's a two-way street. And if you have thirst plus the inability to seduce women, 30 seconds on the clock, chat. What do they get? You go. Let's see who gets it. Let's see. Real Fam Sapien says thirst is the worst. That's right. Says you get anger. No. You become an incel. That's by default. Creep. Nope. The propensity to seduce. Nope. Incel. Nope. Pussy napkin. Nope. Rapist. Nope. Rejected. Nope. Oh, there we go. There we go. I'm so proud of listen. And of course, he has hardworking MLD as his thirst plus inability to seduce is simp. Now, guess what? You know, Americans are the biggest fucking simps on the planet. Did you guys know that? America's number one export is simping. So now you have simping. Great. Fan-fucking-tastic. Okay. So now you have simping. So guess what? Remember those women I told you? Okay. So those women, remember, at least 50% of them are of a void, meaning they can't function healthily in a relationship. But what are they receiving endless amounts of from these simps? What are the simps doing? Let's see, anybody in the chat? Bueller, simping. What do they get? Oh, good job. Ding, ding, ding. Morgan Jones. Validation. Good job. So now we have simping. Guess what? You're giving validation. But when they have these broken inner game, that validation goes into a black hole that only you can fill by coming to peace with all your traumas in your life. So they just fill this validation in the black hole. And guess what? These women are never really incentivized to change or get better. So, and this can go on for literally a woman's entire life. Women can get simped on all the way up until their 50s. If she takes really good care of herself, probably her 60s, because that's how pathetic men are. The men who simp. If you don't simp, like I know there is no simping on my end at all. Yikes, man. But this is an exclusive American problem. You see? So, and they have no, at all. They have no incentive to get better. And guess what? The simping enrich men? No. Simping drains men. Right? So then you have at least a good amount of the population. I don't want to put a number on it, but I would say I would not be surprised if 50% of the U.S. population of men is simping. I would not be surprised if they came out like, we have the official simping report.
Uh-oh, retard alert.
And 50% of males are engaged in some form of simping. This is why when I have clients who get with my coaching, I make them fill out a questionnaire. And one of the questions is like, are you providing financial resources to any woman right now that is not in a relationship with you? OnlyFans, whatever. Because if you're doing that, stop it, especially trying to get your shit together financially. Stop it right now. She doesn't like you. She will never like you. Any emotional positivity you think you're giving her, you're just making up in your mind, and she's taking your fucking money, you moron. Okay? So you guys know I love to talk about simping, right? So let's go and let's just go check my favorite simping website. Where are we at? Hilarious. Here we go. It's time to go to Twitch. So let's go to browse. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, let's go to Amaranth, our lovely. Remember that I did a show on her the other day? She is 11,700 people watching live, sending donations. Majority of her audience is male for sure.
2.
Here we go.
73. You're just joining us. We're playing the towel game. At 100, I take the towel off. Every sub makes me count backwards to keep the towel on longer. Makes the chat angry. Well, humors me chat.
So she's I take the towel off at 100, and every sub we count backwards. So she is teasing the audience, and as they send money to her. Isn't it hilarious? And this is just one chick. Let's just go to browse and just see live channels. Let's see my viewers. Okay, we got XQC. There we go. Here's one girl here. She must be speaking in Spanish.
Para salvarse y poder entrar dentro de la final. Porque cambia mucho el voto positivo al voto negativo que vienen teniendo los participantes cuando votamos. Bueno, el voto positivo es otra cosa, otra historia. Ahí cambia mucho porque ahí ya son los fandom o la gente que los quiere votando.
So it's a gigantic economy of simping that, in my opinion, is kind of getting worse too. You know what I mean? Ryan, the Eating Warrior, $4.99. Dude, you're blowing my mind. I had no idea this crap was so bad. I just thought it was 12-year-old boys. No.
Shut up and take my money.
No. Unfortunately, it is out of control. It is super out of control. And we got another one here. Thank you so much. My Truth, $20 super chat. Speaking of inner game, yesterday's podcast with you, Apex, and the other two gentlemen was awesome. Thank you. Appreciate different approaches on improvement. Have you heard of the Silva technique, Jose Silva, and your thoughts? I have not heard of it. I think I have heard of it. I'm thinking Joe De Silva. I don't know. There's another inner game guy. I'll check that. Simp Economy on Twitch. It's everywhere, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Oh
and take
God,
my money.
yeah. No, I know. Eugenia Cooney. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm not gonna do that to that girl. But shout out to you, my true. Appreciate you. But anyways, you see, that's the problem. So let's go back to the board here. For you guys, first time tuning into my whiteboard presentations, thank you. We have to take this fat donut off the screen because it's covering this. Let's see. Yeah, I always notice this too, right? Isn't that funny, John? I've always noticed that. It's all good. My feelings are not hurt. I'm impervious. Hey, what's going on? Why is this not working? Hold on. For some reason, it's not sharing. I have to redo this. It's not moving. It's so weird. 1 second. The website's being weird. It's not letting me like right click and drag. Oh, here we go. Okay, cool. There we go. You have to select this icon. I got it. Okay. So anyways, quick review. I'm going to show you where we're at. So hypersexualization, right? So the majority of women, they showcase their value by sexualizing themselves. And these women don't stop. These women are still like trying to look like fucking hoes into their 40s. Like, isn't Kim Kardashian 40? And this bitch is like still half naked all the time. Like, woman, you have 4 children. Like, go home, bake a cake. Jesus, you just like, do you have this impulse that you must get naked? Like, what's going on here? How old is she? She's 40, isn't she? Fucking anime Jesus, take the wheel, save us all, Lord. So you got, and it just doesn't stop. You see these girls, they just can't stay not naked on, or they're always like showing their ass or something. They need that validation, right? Nina's in the house. 304s love the attention. Yeah, Kim Kardashian's 42. Okay, 42. Lady, go home. Go home. Go home and hold your child and love them so they don't end up like you. Give them the validation that only you can give them, Kim. So you got a population of the void, the single mom culture. So then you have thirst, the inability to seduce women equals simping. Validation women, endless black hole, drains men. Okay. So, one moment here. I have a list of things I wanted to review. Okay. So this is the problem cause of it. This is the root issue. Okay. So now I'll say this. Actually, okay, let me go mainstream for this. Okay. So here's the thing. Now, I will be honest with you. I am extremely guilty of using women for validation. I have done it before. And guess what? Even when it does make me feel good, you got to understand. This is some high level shit, so just bear with me. But they say if you live for the cheers, then you'll die by the booze, right? So I'm a man. Of course, I like female validation, just like females like male validation, right? But to become dependent on it means that when the validation goes away, your happiness, your conditions for, how can I put this? For some people, even operating on a daily basis, if you don't have this good validation, this good conditioning, then it's going to affect you on your day to day. It's going to affect your self-esteem, how you feel, how you perform at work, all these things, right? So that's a problem. That's a big problem. But there is a way to alleviate this. And when I alleviated this, so I'll tell you my story, right? So obviously, single mom, raised all the whole, we all know the story, right? Wasn't the best childhood. But when I started doing so, for me, and again, this is my personal experience, okay? So I did this, there's a type of therapy called hypnotherapy. It is when you go to bed, you are like, you're put in a relaxed state by the hypnotist. And this is a therapist. This isn't some fucking guy who's like, smoking ayahuasca and like, oh, the shaman shit is going to cure you. Okay. So this is a person who sits there and diagnoses you. This is Ryan Fowler for me from Inner Masculine. Okay. And he understands I hate to even say he's like a red pill therapist, but he does understand the ins and outs of like approach anxiety, not feeling good enough on a date, sexual performance, right? Coming too soon, not coming at all, can't get an erection, wondering if you satisfied the girl, becoming obsessed with those thoughts, maintaining relationship, not self-sabotaging, right? He has all these details, mom issues, daddy issues, all that shit too. So you do an interview and a deep dive before, and we talked about everything, right? my biggest thing was my aunt was so emotionally mean to me and abusive to me when I was little, and that like kind of kept like a fear and an anxiety in my head. So you do the therapy, you go into a relaxed state, and then you kind of talk about what happened and you relive the moment, and then typically the person experiences a moment of catharsis, and catharsis is the goal of all therapy. And this is the emotional release, the release of some kind of stored up bad feeling. And this is what we call trauma, right? And these things can get stored in your subconscious mind. Sometimes you'd be sitting around, and then this has happened to people who've been traumatized before. They will be reliving a past event, or they will be kind of thinking how they would redo an event. And this event was like 2-3 years ago. Like, yeah, this is what I would have said to you, or I would have done this, or I should have just, picked up my stuff and walked. I should have spoken up for myself. When you hold on to these traumas, and some of these some really traumatic events are deeply rooted in our subconscious mind. You got to remember, your subconscious mind controls everything. So when you have deep rooted trauma in your subconscious mind, it can only keep you as emotionally mature and functional to an extent to the point that the moment of the trauma occurred, right? So a lot of people, this is why you see people who just they just can't grow up sometimes, because they're just so traumatized from some shit that happened in the past. So what we do though is we put you in a relaxed state, and then we talk about it, and this trauma is released. And there's multiple ways to do this kind of thing, but ultimately you have to identify the traumas that have held you back in the past and what was going on with you. And it all basically boils down to not feeling loved and secure at some point in your life, and not feeling good enough to feel that. Right? That's what you notice when people, you can just tell when someone's raised by a good family. They're normal, they're mature, they're well balanced emotionally, and their physical appearance typically reflects that too. They're in good shape, they're usually attractive, right? Because this is a human that was raised correct. So when people undergo these trauma releases, what happens is so much kind of mental space is freed up, because they've been holding on to this for the longest time. And this, you'll see people, they'll have breakthroughs in their physical fitness. They will have breakthroughs financially. They'll have breakthroughs with dating and relationships. And that is the goal. So for me, I didn't understand, but this kind of urge that I felt to hook up with a lot of girls, I've slept with a lot of women, like 250. It's a lot. It's a fuckload. And so after 100 is typically kind of when you should be like, okay, I'm kind of satiated, but I was still doing it from an unhealthy place. And I think people who keep doing it after a certain amount, that is coming from an unhealthy place. So what I think is going to happen is that, for me at least, was once I was able to process, just letting go of some stuff that happened in my childhood, I felt like after the session, I felt like 15 pounds lighter. And then to top it off, I had realized that, and this was in November 2021, I had realized that because I was working with Ryan Fowler and Paul from Apex Mindset, I had realized that my desire to actually go out and pursue women and go after them drastically dropped. I am not joking, probably dropped by like 60%. To this day, honestly, The only thing that really gets me my socks rocking is if I see like a girl with really big boobs that's into me, and I'm not talking she's fat so she has big boobs, like a woman that's skinny has big boobs, or like just a stunner, like a drop dead gorgeous girl who has good personality. Anything else is like, you know, daddy MLD's done it all. You know, you got to be really special to catch my attention these days. Yeah, Jonathan said that. Well, you know, we all know how he feels about his mom. So I'm catching up on the chat right now. Jaylee says, I was guilty too. Most of the red pill content there blames women, but more than half the problem that are the men simping. Yeah, stop blaming women and just focus on being your best self. Increase your chances. I mean, no, you do all of it. You can get better with women. You can learn this. It's not like it's not like an immoral skill. It's not something that is done to like object. I think it's hilarious when women says like, you're just trying to objectify women. Like, no, women are doing a great job of objectifying themselves. Like, I am not part of that at all. Trust me. You know, the you can learn game. You can learn how to be good with women. You can learn how to be comfortable in your skin. Okay. And you never know when the opportunity is going to rise. Look, so remember, I said, like, you know, the girls with big boobs are the ones that really get me going. So that happened in November 2021, right? So on my way back to Japan from my USA tour, because I was in USA 2021, December, right? I got snatched up in the airport because apparently I tested negative leaving America for COVID, but coming into Japan, I tested positive. No symptoms, nothing. Completely fine. They fucking snatched me up and put me in a hotel, mandatory isolation for 6 days. I couldn't do anything. I was like, dude, this is prison. I'm a fucking prisoner. I couldn't believe it. I absolutely couldn't believe it. So when I was on the bus, like being taken to like fucking Japanese Auschwitz, there was this hot 22-year-old girl there with huge big tits, and you never know when the opportunity comes. And so I ended up talking to her, and then, you know, we were both isolated and we were just texting back and forth. And you know, I ended up hooking up with her in the fucking, you know, in the Corona internment camp in Tokyo. Broke the rules on that one, but hey, it's all good. It was a good time. But you never know when the opportunity is going to rise, you know? And so, you know, that's it's a positive thing. And here's another thing too. That when you date a bunch of women and you figure this thing out, the probability of you finding the woman that you want and staying with her and having a fulfilling life and relationship with her, that also goes up too. And that is priceless in my opinion. Because, you know, I'm telling you, all these dudes offer themselves and shit, like saying I'm gonna be a player for life. That shit's not real, dude. That shit is not real. You know? Yeah. My truth says my huge knockers are tough to resist. Glad you're on my side here. But here's the thing. So you have to learn to validate yourself, okay? And here's the easiest way to do this, okay? For you guys right now, man or woman watching, doesn't matter. But you know, I know this sounds like Disney shit or whatever, but it's so true. Like, just eliminate your negative self-talk. Stop it completely. Do not say anything negative about yourself. Do not say, oh, I'm so stupid, I did this, or, you know, like self-deprecating humor. Just trust me. It just don't say it. Just don't. And I know it probably feels awkward for you to say some positive things about yourself, but you definitely should be. That is the top priority. You should be saying some positive things about yourself, not be putting yourself down negatively, because you are who you communicate yourself to be. And if you're always like, just think about it. How are you going to be a fucking bundle of joy if you're always talking shit to yourself? Like, and then, you know, you're going to, what love are you going to bring to somebody else? You know, you're not even valuing yourself. It all, like I said, it all comes back to valuing yourself, right? So cut the negative self-talk and validate yourself. You got as like I said, as gay and as Disney as this sounds. And I'm not trying to be any, because there is something called toxic positivity, like when you're just too positive and you're not being rational. Okay. You have to have logical optimism. All right. And just be objective. If you're a person watching this kind of content, if you're a person, especially, and here's the truth, if you're a person that started watching at the beginning of this broadcast and you're watching to this point right now, you've been watching for a full hour, you are different. You are special. You are not like these fucking morons out there in the rest of the world. So trust your instinct, trust yourself. That's what I did. I trusted myself. I knew, like, no, I'm pretty sure I'm right and these motherfuckers are wrong and I'm just vastly outnumbered. And if my message is making sense to you, that's you. Okay? Trust yourself. Trust your instincts. Okay? And stop the, like I said, going back to that, stop the negative self-talk. Just completely cut it out. There is no ROI on it. Okay? That's all I got today for us, folks. So listen, male thirst, that's the biggest problem. We're going to be doing more inter-game topics like this the rest of the month of March. Sit tight. We're going to be doing it live. And again, don't forget, we are going live again with the Intergame Healing Summit. So that one is happening again on March 30th. Go to intergamehealing.com. Just put your email address in right here and hit the enter button. You'll be locked and loaded to get in. Until then, I'll see you here tomorrow for Free Consultation Friday. Much love to you all. Peace out.